All right, everyone, we've had so much political news, I literally had to bump a story of this A-grade caliber, which is that Justin Amash has announced he's leaving the Republican Party in frustration with the partisan nature of its leadership. And let me say something. And some of you out there that are like a MAGA or you're like a partisan Republican, you're not going to like this, actually. I'm happy that Justin Amash has left the Republican Party. I'm actually happy about that. And the Republicans don't run the House of Representatives anyway, so it's not really politically that bad for them. I'll tell you why. Number one, I'm not a partisan. I think it's good when there are independents in Congress. The fact that he ran and became a congressperson under the Republican banner really doesn't matter to me. You'll remember, what was it? Was it Jeffords or something had switched to an independent at the dawn of the Bush era, deadlocking the House then, actually, which had been narrowly Republican at the time, and this was a big indictment of Bush then, and it was a good thing. So I actually don't have a problem with this, because I think that, everyone in politics should be independent. There shouldn't even be a two-party system. So that part doesn't bother me. Number two, he's not really acting the part of a Republican. I happen to disagree with Justin Amash on, this is primarily about the border issue. Justin Amash is an open borders sort of pseudo-libertarian. The libertarian movement, I know he's not an LP member, has embraced the concept that even though there is a welfare state, somehow we can have open borders and that can be fine. I know the LP is like, well, we should eliminate all this welfare stuff too. The problem is you haven't done that yet and you want to throw the borders open, so you're siding with people who want to do that now and increase the welfare state. That's not going to work. What you would end up is with 1 billion people moving to the country. Liberty is wonderful. It would be better if we used diplomacy and the carrot and the stick method to try to spread it abroad so that we didn't have to absorb the whole world's population. It'd be better if we had a world of libertarianism. If you fundamentally can deal with the concept of free movement of people, then can you deal with the concept of using diplomacy to try to create a world that's governed by liberty and its principles? Well, then most people wouldn't want to move anywhere at that point. They would just stay where they're born, because everywhere would be more prosperous. It'd be an easy solution. In fact, it would appease everyone in the world. Everyone would be better off. The ethno-nats wouldn't care because nobody's moving around. The globalists wouldn't care because they could move around freely and do their investing and stuff, and it wouldn't really make a problem. A world run by basic constitutionalist principles, yeah, that'd be a good thing. As far as Amash goes, though, in most respects, I support him. That is, this is one of those situations where a person has one glaring flaw, but the other things that they believe in, like their ideology overall, I can get along with. Because Amash, he's completely against gun control. He's against censorship. He's come out against that. He doesn't believe in massive, increase of government and new taxes and all that bullshit. In fact, his opposition to his own party, Trump and McConnell mainly, on the issue of open borders has been from the perspective of it's too costly to build a wall more than anything else. His perspective is primarily that we shouldn't spend money on it. Now, I will say this, it's a bit hypocritical of him to jump ship now, because Trump essentially has gone around Congress and said, okay, then I'll get Mexico and Guatemala mainly to deal with the situation. There'll be a safe third country, Mexico will pony up extra manpower, and in return, we won't tariff them, basically. So they're spending peanuts in order to maintain good trade relations with the United States in an arrangement that's mutually beneficial to both of our economies. Trump has managed to solve the problem without getting any U.S. legalism involved. Now, of course, more money has been disbursed now. What was it? It was the $4.5 billion to border problems. But then, true to form, the judiciary decided to step in and say, no, you're not allowed to spend any of it on the wall. So essentially, even if Congress earmarks money to build a border wall, Trump can't spend it on a border wall. It's very interesting how the activistic judicial branch has stopped him from actually executing the law. It's very fun. At some point, you need SCOTUS to get involved. They need to stop dragging their heels and take up the case. But the thing is, the liberal justices there are probably begging not to do that because they know that they'll lose. They know that ultimately, yes, it is strictly an executive power. In fact, it's an executive responsibility to defend the border. In the most specific sense, that's part of the defense of the nation. It's an explicit responsibility. It's not even a right, like, oh yes, Trump can do that. It's a responsibility. The president must execute the law in such a way that the country is kept safe. The security of the free people of the United States must be safeguarded. That's an executive responsibility. He doesn't even have a choice in the matter. The fact is that Obama didn't do his job. He fundamentally violated the Constitution by deciding to shirk his responsibility there. And the legislature and the judiciary refused to allow him to do the proper job that he's supposed to do. And so you've got activism within the courts, and then the legislature, again, true to form, drags its heels, spends years debating minutia while nothing gets accomplished. And that's usually good. It's usually good when the legislature doesn't belly up to the bar and things get slowed down. That's usually a good thing, because laws should be passed slowly. If anything, most of them shouldn't be passed at all, because most of them suck. But in some cases, when you have something that is legitimately a national emergency, like, oh yeah, groups of thousands or tens of thousands of people are freely wandering across the border in both directions regularly, and nobody's doing jack shit to stop it. Yeah, that's a national emergency. And the Supreme Court's probably going to side with Trump on it. I wouldn't even be surprised to see a liberal justice or two defect from the others in rank and side with the Trump administration. So yeah, as far as Justin Amash goes, I mean, Trump can't do anything without SCOTUS getting involved. The money is already there anyway. It's already been allocated by the House in a bipartisan agreement. It doesn't matter what party Amash is a member of, and he's not becoming like a Democrat because they wouldn't have him. It would have been funny if he had said, well, I'm converting to liberalism. I'm going to be a Maxine Waters acolyte now. Some people say, well, he's a traitor. No, he's not. He decided he didn't like Trump's platform. It doesn't make him a traitor. It just makes him wrong on the immigration issue. On the other issues, yeah, I think you'll find that largely he sides still with even the further right within the GOP on many issues. In some cases, like myself, even goes past that. It's like the Republicans are not a pro-gun party. They're just less anti-gun than the Democrats. The LP is more pro-gun. And they're an open borders party like the fucking Greens or like the far left Democrats, which is, I think, regrettable because it's not truly libertarian. But on other issues, on taxation, guns, and things of that nature, yes, I agree strongly with them and in fact would be considered a fanatic within their own ranks in some. I don't believe in any form of censorship. I don't even think that private businesses should be able to censor anything, because the First Amendment is philosophical as much as it is a piece of paper with some ink on it talking about constraining government. It's a spirit, it's a philosophy that goes beyond that. Same is true of all of the constitutional amendments. But some people have a more legalistic belief. They're not strict constructionists, except when it comes to strictly applying them only to government so that private entities can still abuse people. That's okay to them. They don't care if they're abused as long as the abuse doesn't come from someone who's taxpayer funded. Unless it's in a roundabout way like, Twitter or something. That's funny too. So yeah, I don't have a problem with Justin Amash jumping ship. Who fucking cares? And it's one person within the House who became an independent. It doesn't really shift the balance of power at all. He might get kicked out anyway. He might not win simply because he no longer has the backing of the GOP. Are they going to let him caucus with them, or is he going to have to run a fully independent campaign? Will he be able to weather that? Maybe the GOP will retaliate by throwing a bunch of money at the race and knocking him out. It's always possible. No, I don't think that they should bother. I think they should just leave him alone and say, fuck it. Who cares? That's about all. Peace out.